Welcome back, viewers. Today we will be testing the SMA price divergence histogram. But before we do, if you have not watched my first video and the videos after that, you need to go do that right now. Here at the Academy of Forex, we are building the best trading system possible as a team, and as a team, we will all profit from it when we are done. You can find a link to the first video down in the description below. You can also find a link to our Discord server, so that way we can all discuss testing indicators and building our trading system. And lastly, you can find a link below to TradingView. If you sign up for a paid account, you will save a little bit of money using the link below. Alright, as I said, today we will be testing the SMA price divergence histogram. But before we do, I wanted to put the indicator scoreboard up for everyone to see. So to date, we have tested 64 indicators. And out of those 64 indicators, 18 of them have been winners, which means that they have met or exceeded the 60% win-loss ratio threshold that we have set for them. The best one so far was able to achieve a 100% win rate. Now you need to go back and watch that video to understand the context of how it was able to achieve that. But as we are working on building the best trading system possible, you can take any one of those 18 indicators and get out there and start profitably trading the markets with them now. So go back and watch those videos, make a list of those indicators, and get out there and see what you can do with them. But stick with us here as we work on maximizing your trading profits. Alright, as I said, today's indicator is the SMA price divergence histogram. It is a TradingView member created indicator. And let's see, it has a whole lot going on here. One thing that I've learned over my years of playing with indicators and testing indicators and tweaking indicators is that often you will find an indicator that so there are some indicators, let me back up a little bit. There are some indicators that just have one part to them. So for instance, let's say a moving average, right? It's just one line, one part to it. You can change what happens with that one indicator, but in itself, it's just one line and there's not a lot of other moving parts to it. Then you run into a good deal of other indicators that have multiple moving parts to it. And often what ends up happening is you will find one specific part of an indicator that does a really good job of doing something. But as a whole, it doesn't do that great. And so typically what ends up happening is you have to dissect an indicator. You have to find the one piece. You have to test the pieces kind of individually and figure out which one is the best piece and hold on to that one and kind of throw away the rest of how the indicator works. And so that's something that I often do whenever I am looking at an indicator to test. Of course, I test just about any indicator, but when I'm looking at it and trying to decide how I'm going to test it, sometimes there's a clear defined way of testing it. Sometimes there is a way that has a few different moving parts that have to, kind of come together and all give you that same signal at the same time. And so this particular indicator here, the part that I am going to concentrate on is the divergence signal line. And so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go in here and I am going to clear out the histogram part of it. And I'm going to concentrate solely on the divergence signal line here. And I am also going to, let's see, I was looking at this. So this has a built-in kind of choppiness zone to it here, which is what this little gray blocked out line is. And so I believe what I am going to do is I'm going to keep that chop zone in there, because as I've said in a lot of other videos, we definitely need an indicator that will help us filter out the choppiness of a market. And you know, anytime you find one, it's a good idea to put it to the test, see what it can do. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to trade this rather simply. I am going to, when it turns red, that's a signal to go short. When it turns green, that's a signal to go long. When it is in the chop zone, if it gives a signal within the chop zone, then there will be no trade. It has to be outside the chop zone for the signal to be valid. Or if it is, if there is no trade taking place, let's see if I can find an instance of it. Can't quite, well, I guess right here. No, because it switched. So I don't quite see an instance of it, but let's say we get a signal that is inside the chop zone here, and it continues to give us that signal as it breaks out of the chop zone, then that would be a valid signal. It would have filtered out the choppiness at that point, which is basically what a choppiness or ranging market filter would be good for. So yes, with all that being said, let's get on with testing here and see what we can get out of this indicator. Alright, so there is the first signal there. Let's play it out a little bit and see. Let's see here. So that was a win on the first signal there. And then it gave us another signal here. It looks like when it did so, it was outside the choppiness. Let's play it forward a little bit and see. Nope, unfortunately. That one would have been a loss there. And it breaks down here for a win. Peaks up for just a moment here. But turns right around and stops us out going the other way, so that would have been a losing trade. Let's see this one here. Would have picked up a win on that one. And it gave us another signal there, and we would have picked up a win on that one. So far not too bad. It does seem to possibly be overtrading, so that's something we need to be mindful of. But I'm going to keep plugging along here and see what we can get out of it. We're a little past midway through the year now, and I must say it's early to tell. Obviously, like I say, we don't really know until we add them up during the once we get to the end, but it seems to be doing a really good job. I liked this right here. this was a great example of a choppiness, a ranging market that it did a really decent job of filtering out. There does seem to be some areas though where it hits a little bit of choppiness and it doesn't quite filter it out, but that's alright. You can't expect it to filter out the choppiness 100% of the time. And so, yeah, all in all, at this point, I'm pretty impressed with what it's doing. So keep on to the end of the year here, and then we'll add them up and see what we get out of it. Alright, we're getting real close to the end of the year now. Finish up these last couple of signals here, and then we will add them up and see what we get out of them. Alright, one last signal there. Alright, a bit of an overtrader, I must admit, but like I've said many times before, it's alright if it overtrades as long as it can overtrade accurately. And so let's count them out here and see what we get out of it. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, and 42. So we have 42 trading signals, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26. 26 of them are winning trades. And so that just barely beats out, barely gets us over that 60% win-loss ratio threshold that we are looking for. I'm a little bit suspicious about this one. And so I'll have to dig into this one a little bit more. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a question mark next to this one, because I noticed something a little strange happening whenever I was back testing this, and I think I've seen this before. And let me see if I can find an example of this and why I am slightly suspicious about. Okay, so here, right here is a perfect example of what I am talking about. So basically, what I am seeing here is if you follow down and look at the indicator, it appears that right here on this candle, it is giving a short signal, which in hindsight is really amazing. I mean, it seems to be almost predicting this really large drop that takes place right here. And that's where I'm a little bit suspicious of it. There doesn't seem to be really anything at this point on this candle, that would indicate a really large drop is coming. Now, I could be wrong. This indicator most definitely could be calling, you know, a move that, you know, that might take place. And so, more likely is that it's not actually calling that move, that the way the indicator is set up, it hasn't quite given a short signal yet, but because this large drop took place here and then it paints that short signal, it paints the short side of this, that it overlaps slightly backwards onto this candle. I hope all that made sense, because I've seen this happen once or twice before with indicators that are similar to this, in that they seem to, at this moment where a big move happens, they tend to kind of blur this line between where it actually happened and where the indicator appears to be showing that it happened. And so for a good deal of these signals, it didn't really matter. Even if I would have measured out without this candle, because what would happen was this candle here would have been the signal candle. This candle here would have been the entry candle. Now, if it could have called that, that would have been phenomenal, right? Amazing call on that indicator. But more likely what I think happened was this one here was the signal candle. This candle right here would have been our entry candle. And if we measure off there, that would have actually been a losing trade there. Now let's look back at this one here. This one right here would have actually been our entry candle. This, well, no, I take that back. So this one would have been our signal candle. This one would have been our entry candle. And if we measure that off, we still got the win on that one. And so there's a good deal of these wins that we still would have been able to capture, gotten the win out of it. But I have a feeling that there's a good deal of these wins that might not have actually been wins. And so you may be asking yourself, what exactly, how exactly am I going to test this? How exactly, what do I do now, right? If I think that this is happening. Well, the best thing that you can do, honestly, is to throw it up onto a 1 minute chart. And since it's on a 1 minute, it's going to be all grayed out and in choppiness because it's not really meant to trade on a 1 minute. But what you can do in these instances is you can forward test it, basically, or test it in real time. And so you can throw it up on a chart, 1 minute chart, or if you can get even down lower. don't even have the upgraded package to get down to the 1 second. There's really no need to ever trade on that level anyways, but yeah, nonetheless, we're bringing it down to a really low time frame, and we're just going to sit here and we're going to watch it. No, this is time consuming, but this is the type of legwork that you have to put in to be a profitable trader and find the indicators that are really going to work. And so we're just going to sit here and we're going to watch it, and we're going to wait, and we're going to see what happens. And the moment that it gives a signal, like for example, right now we're waiting for it to go to a long signal. The moment it gives a long signal, I would mark that with a line. Boom. and then see what happens. And so what's going to happen is that, whoop, right there. You see what's happening? Are you watching the signal down here? So let me see if I can get, there we go. You see what it's doing? So it's flashing back and forth from green to red, green to red, green to red, right? And so we're going to set it here for just a moment, and we're going to see what happens, because this actually didn't call it right there. I just happened to throw a line right there, coincidentally. Boom. See? There you go. That's exactly what I was referring to. So now you see that actually, if you go back and you look, this wasn't a long signal right there. It was still red. When this candle closed, that was a red. This line was red down here. It's not until this candle closed that it then painted the indicator slightly backwards. And so this kind of falls in the realm of a repainting indicator. And basically that means it's an indicator that gives either gives a signal and then later changes it, or it doesn't give a signal at all and then later goes back and puts that signal in. And so this is basically like a repainting indicator right here. And that's no good. That's no good at all. I mean, what you could do is it doesn't repaint like some of them. And so since this repaints in a very specific way, then what we can do is we can account for that, right? And so we know that this candle right here was actually the signal candle, not this one right here, which the indicator seems to be showing. And so, yeah, I'm glad this took place right in front of our eyes. This is a perfect example of the steps that you have to take when you are playing around with indicators and the things you need to keep an eye out for. Sometimes it's easy to spot that an indicator might be doing this. Sometimes it's not easy to spot. And it's not until you put a lot of work into testing it that this reveals itself. And so anytime you get an indicator that has an extremely high win rate, you should always first off be suspicious of it and go back and do this. Throw it on a live chart on a 1 minute and just set for 30 minutes and watch it and watch it. Maybe even longer, maybe an hour. However long it takes for you to see a good number of short and long signals take place. And so that way you can get an idea of whether or not this indicator is repainting, like this one does. And so most indicators, if they repaint, that's it. It's an immediate out the window. And so this one right here, I know for a fact that this indicator would not have given us the winning number of trades that we needed because of the way it is repainting. And so unfortunately, even though it appeared it was going to go on the winning list, it is actually going on the no list. So all right, that was a great lesson that we just picked up right there. And so I am really glad that that happened right in front of our eyes, because it really, it really gives us a good idea of what can happen with indicators and things we need to watch out for. So, all right, everybody, that's it. This one is actually going on the no list. Unfortunately, it seemed too good to be true, and it was. So we'll move on to the next indicator from here. If you have not already, like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell notification so that way you are notified anytime I post a new video. As part of the team, It's important that you are seeing the new videos as they come out so you know what it is that we are discussing and what indicators we are testing, have tested, and have not tested. Also, like usual, there is a link below in the description to the Discord server. You can join us on Discord so that way we can further discuss the indicators and have discussions as we move forward building our trading system. And lastly, like usual, there is a link below to TradingView. If you like what you see whenever I use TradingView and you are interested in signing up for TradingView, if you use the link below and sign up for a paid account, you will save a little bit of money. So, all right, everybody, I will see you on the next video.